of you guys. And since we started with the meeting officially now, let's just let David to introduce us and keep going.
Yeah, let's wait 2 minutes more, Diana. Diana, to have a
Oh,
safe
perfect. So 4 years
six.
here. What about
Yeah.
Nicole? How
Sorry?
long have you been,
Nicole.
Nicole? How long?
I've only been a member for, I think, 2 days. I passed my CAPM
Oh,
exam 2 days ago.
welcome.
I am brand new.
Fantastic. You can nominate the next one. Who wants to, who you want to ask the question?
You're making me put someone on the spot?
Yeah.
How about Jane?
Okay.
Sorry, I apologize.
I'm just like you. Have been a member for I think about 3 days. Yeah.
Oh my
Pretty
goodness.
much 3 days. Yeah. I'm yet to write the PMP exam. So I'm preparing myself. I booked 30th of June. So hopefully, yeah, by then my fate will be determined.
Finger crossed.
Yeah,
Finger crossed.
sure.
Yeah, you will
Jane,
get.
who is next?
Diana? Diana? Is that you, Diana? Okay, I
Yes,
think
Yeah.
I'm calling you again.
Unless,
Okay, Nicole is there. I can see Nicole. Oh, Nicole is the one that called me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ralph? How about Ralph?
Hi everyone. So yep, seems like we've chose everybody that's just started 3 days ago with PMI. Yeah, so I've just pretty much registered 3 days ago, uh, and getting what do you call that same thing, trying to get my PMP before the new PMP test coming up after July 9. But I'm still doing my 35 hours of contact, so currently doing all of that through Udemy and yeah, pretty much, and then do all the application when that's done. So hopefully I'll make up to the what do you call that to the before July 8th test. So it's a little bit of a cramming. So I really need to project it out and make sure that prepared. Hopefully.
awesome. So I think we can start now.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for sharing with us, and hopefully you can find useful decision for today.
Yes, let me try to share my screen. Sorry. Yeah, bear with me, guys.
So just for Diana and others' benefit, I am also new, but new to WAPMI, but I am Ganesh here, PMP from 2003. I've been renewing my PMP certificate since then, accruing 60 PDUs every 3 years. So I'm heading IT in an engineering company, by the way, in Perth. Thanks, guys.
I see. So you might guide us later on or help us to mentor more members.
Well, always.
Awesome.
Well, guys, welcome everyone for this session. This session is for you, for new members, and even for those who are not new member but are part of the PMI Western Australia chapter. This is an initiative that we were planning since last year with the board, with Diana as well, working with us to try to, to bring something valuable for you guys to understand. There are plenty of new members, probably with plenty of questions, plenty of doubt, as well as most of them, hey, I want to get any certification, but I don't know how to do it. So here, meeting is all about answer a question, be welcome with you, share with you some information regarding the PMI, and then we are going to have some information from Mike as well. So let's kick off the meeting just saying, This is the PMI. As you know, PMI is a global organization who is leading the project management industry. Here, I'm just going to share with you some figures. We are more than 1.8 million active certifications. We have more than 300 chapters around the world, as well as more than 14,000 volunteers across the globe. So most of you know how PMI is helping transform project management in different industries. Moving forward, I wanted just to highlight now how we are within this global organization. Western Australia chapter belongs to Region 10. Region 10 pretty much are made up of 8 chapters, which are 7 in Australia and 1 in New Zealand. We are the 5th largest chapter in Region 10. Just to let you know how we are growing, last year we were the fastest growing chapter. So it means probably we are targeting breaking the 1,000 member ceiling. I'm expecting in June. In June, probably we are going to have 1,000 members, which means we are growing really, really fast. This kind of event is, for that purpose. Try to be welcome with you, share, information, news, and help you in your professional career. Well, just to let you know here, the largest chapter is Melbourne, and the second is Sydney. Just for your information. Here you can see the PMIWA leadership team. Diana as a president, Diana who is running the professional development portfolio, Nicholas who is the finance director, Ingrid Howard who is helping us with communications portfolio, Nick Casson as a volunteering portfolio director, myself in the membership, Spencer in leading the event portfolio, Maslang as a secretary, and Andre Guinardo probably will have some changes here. Probably I'll let you know later on. But so far it's Andre Guinardo as academic outreach. Moving forward, from chapter membership point of view, we have plenty of benefits. We have many, but we try to summarize most of them in this slide. You can see from professional growth and learning, you now, by having the single membership, probably you might know or might be across of this. Having, one single membership is not just about having the global one. Now you are encouraged to have the membership in your local chapter. So it means you are going to have a community where you can, grow professionally, having, support from our partner for any kind of certifications that you want to achieve, as well as having, this welcoming community where you will get this sort of sense of belonging. Obviously, every single monthly event and the upcoming ones that Diana is going to talk later on is an opportunity to have, these kind of networking opportunities. If you are going to, to transition to another industry, most people are changing from one industry to project management. So it's a good opportunity to have these kind of network opportunities. Obviously, get recognition across of the chapter, people who are, like-minded as us, and many other that we can, talk later on. I think this upcoming event is something that Diana, who is part of the professional development, can talk. Diana, so you want to take lead on that? Over to you.
Thank you, David. So yeah, we are having a few events in September. So take your time, lock your calendar now. That's going to be from Wednesday, the 16th of September until Friday, for the whole community until Friday, the 18th. It's the conference, the annual conference in WA. We are also celebrating the 25th anniversary. So we have from site visits through conference presentations up to the end with a wonderful party. So just to let you know, guys, there are plenty coming on, and we all want to see you there enjoying precisely those benefits of being PMI member, right? So this is pretty much what we have here in WA. But remember, David started talking about Australia, APAC, and there are plenty of events happening globally as well. Let's move on into the next one, just being conscious of time. Yep. We also have the volunteer vacancies, so feel free to scan the code. Probably you might feel like after all these details about the benefits, you want to get involved and be part of the community. This is where you can go. There are a few open offers, and you can also apply for the specific ones if there are any available in our big platform. Yep, next one.
I think I saw the Dominic application as well. I reviewed it, Dominic.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I got a message from
Yeah,
I think Nick already.
Nick Castle.
Yeah.
Welcome, and you're happy to have you. Stay with me. There you go.
Probably expect another application, David. I will also jump in, but maybe I'll apply tomorrow.
No worries.
Amazing. Yeah. With all the events coming up, we need more hands here. So yeah, definitely. So based on what you say, guys, most of us are looking for career progression, right? And how we can succeed in that journey. So these are some of the ways that PMI is providing us in terms of community, learning, tools, leadership, and certifications. We might be looking at certifications mainly today, but just keep in mind that we come from a global body knowledge institution into the local WA chapter, and now we are going to be talking through the tools and certifications that we have to go through that process, right? There is a strategy that is called MORE, MORE. Just keep in mind that one as well. We might expand on that a little bit if it's not today, later on, but you would probably see us talking a lot about it. And let's jump into the next one, just because we are going to be talking about the certifications, David. So next slide. This it's a quick snapshot of what you might see as part of your certifications journey in terms of years of experience and your progression through the PMI and chapter membership. To be honest, in my own experience, I just knew about PMP. So for me, this graphic was like just simply blew out my mind. Like we have plenty to do, and also not only in terms of being certified, but boosting our skills, knowing best practices in our industries. It's all involved in terms of knowledge, not only getting the certifications, right? So this is something that you might explore later on today. With Mike, we can have a look in a few of them, but then eventually with the mentorship program and some of the workshop events that we are going to be running from the professional development portfolio, we can explore broader on these things. Next, David. Bit more of details in terms of who is, what is the audience for each of the certifications, what are the prerequisites, and what is the sort of, where is the information available. We would share at the end these slides with you so you can easily have a clear understanding of each of them. We might not have the time to go through all the details today in these slides, but yeah, let's move on. Next, David, there are two more. So they are all 9 certifications in there. And finally, at least on my side, I wanted to highlight this. So from my own experience, when I landed in Australia, um, my goal was to get into the project management industry because I was studying, right? So I didn't know where to go, if I was doing the right thing, and if I was surrounded by the right people. So I found all of that in PMI, which I'm really glad of. And on top of all of that, I also found that thanks to the certifications, being involved with the chapter, been actively improving my skills and best practices in the industry, I could get a higher pay raise. So just to give you a quick example of what we are looking globally, even without knowing, this is a research that's been run for PMI, and that was published last February, if I'm not mistaken. Singing, well, the thing is, it's a real fact. Certified people is getting more, but it's being more recognized. So just to give you an understanding of what we are talking about in that sense here. And that's pretty much from me, I believe. So we got also here Mike from Milpon is one of our, sorry, one more thing before I forget it. Yeah. So locally here, we are talking about the mentorships and community support, which is what David described through each of the portfolios. We also got the events that we are running, the global content that you might have access already through your PMI membership website. Just keep an eye on that one. I was one of those that completed training through this site. I mean, there are plenty of ways to understand what is the exam about. This one worked for me. So I'm talking in terms of going to the content, just read what it might be useful for you, what you are looking for might be there. And if you need additional help, this is why Mike would be probably able to explain us in which cases you find the certified trainers addition, like an extra tool or a way of being trained and finally succeed in your certifications. We also have the conferences that we already talked about, and now, well, let's move into Mike's presentation. Mike's been with PMI. So just to give you a quick intro, please bear with me. Yeah, please. So he's been the director and the best practice of Millpond. Just to summarize all of that, Mike's been training more than 1,000 of people already, running projects as well, and succeeding as not only project manager and a trainer, but an amazing father. And he's been building his own house, which he might probably show you later on. All of that to say that you are not in better hands than Mike to explain what is the PMI certifications about. And hopefully you can have a lot of insights from him and most of your questions answered today. So please, Mike, join us in this presentation and I'll handle it to you.
Let me stop sharing. Thank you. Yeah.
Magic. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for the introduction, team. Hey, thank you for your time this evening. I've got a number of things to try and sort of convey with you tonight, and primarily it's really to make you aware of just the sheer breadth that is the value offering from PMI. So I won't just talk about the certifications, which is sort of the part that I guess work in as a sort of I guess my employed hat, but I'm also going to talk about my volunteer capacity and all that stuff that I guess David and Diana just shared with you. So it's an overarching summary of everything that PMI is, and hopefully fill in some of the gaps you might have today. But just quickly, in terms of who I am, so I run a business called Millpond. We've been delivering projects and training for about 13 years now. We're an authorized training partner. So what that means is PMI have gone through us, our expertise, our backgrounds, our trainers, and given us their seal of approval to ultimately wear their badge with pride and do it justice as well. So there's some of our clients on the right hand side. We do a lot of work within WA, primarily within BHP, and also Development WA as a couple of organizations. I'm a project manager at heart. That's kind of my I guess bread and butter, or what I was born to do, I think. And I've effectively just found myself into this training capacity through initially a PMI volunteer role. I volunteer with the New Zealand chapter. So for those who joined a little bit later, I am based in Christchurch. So what, 4 hours ahead of you this evening, and I've been volunteering for 19 years now with the PMI New Zealand chapter. I do a bit in New Zealand, a bit across Australia, and also speak at some global events as well. As Diana said, big fan of DIY, so I won't have time to share the stories and the scars and the mistakes I made there, but plenty of examples to go around. That's my first taste of a big project that was well out of my depth at the time. And yeah, I'm a father of 3 girls, and that's 3 little projects of my own. Anyway, here are my details. I'll share my LinkedIn QR code tonight as part of the wrap up. But if you want to connect with me to sort of learn more about what I share with you tonight, then you're more than welcome to reach out. I'll try and find some time for you wherever I can, whether it's when I'm visiting for a coffee or just for a virtual call coming up. I just wanted to extend some of the messages that David shared around, I guess, the value of PMI Global and what it offers to you locally as well in WA. Now, PMI's purpose is to maximize project success to elevate our world. So what that means is PMI realizes that organizations are in business to achieve their vision, their strategy, their mission statement. Okay, they do that through change. Change is delivered by projects. So if we can upskill our project practitioners, our project leaders, to understand what is, I guess, well, how to navigate the current challenges of the project world, of that uncertainty, the volatility, the complexity that we live and breathe as project managers, then hopefully we get more successful projects, which means more successful change, which means more successful organizations, which if you think about the outcome or the value as a result of that, better, healthier, more vibrant communities. Ultimately, that's why PMI talk about elevating our world. Now, there's a massive ecosystem right from on the left-hand side to the right-hand side in terms of how PMI do that through global thought leadership, through white papers, through research, through events, networking opportunities, getting some pretty, I guess, influential people who navigate their projects, navigate their lives through projects and sharing that with other people. I firmly believe that the scars that we build or the scars that we gain through leading projects ourselves, they're too good not to share with other practitioners. And that's PMI gives us the opportunity to learn and grow from each other. Of course, there's lots of e-learning, there's lots of training programs, there's lots of certification. There is more content that PMI will give you than what you have time or mental headspace to consume. Okay, so what I'm trying to, I guess, say is understand where you are currently within your project career and utilize PMI, your membership benefits of PMI to enhance that career path. Pick and choose things from PMI that are relevant to yourselves. I'm just focusing directly on PMIWA chapter events. So every second Wednesday, I guess it's a fixed schedule. Every second Wednesday of the month, usually in the evening, there's events happening, and they're normally within the CBD. Sometimes a little bit further north, a little bit further south of the CBD. But ultimately, we had one last week or 2 weeks ago, driving project success through cost and progress management. Coming up on the 13th of May in 3 weeks' time. Lessons from whiskey making for delivering projects that last. That sounds pretty interesting. If anyone's excited about whiskey, go along. I'm not sure if there's free samples, but hey, who knows? So what they do is connect all these local practitioners who either are project managers or are accidental project practitioners and share that with each other. And it's a great opportunity to network with other people, meet all yourselves in person rather than on a video call, build connections, because that will, again, is a key element to unlock your career value going forward. And there's lots of online events as well. Lots of online events in the morning, in the lunchtime, in the evening. So there's lots of ways for you to open your mind to think beyond your current context of how you operate. PMI redefined project success a couple of years ago, late 2024, I think it was. And this is a bit of a challenge. So depending on how long you've sort of floated around the project space, they used to really talk about projects being successful if you hit your scope in terms of your what, hit your time in terms of your when, and hit your budgets in terms of how much money you got to spend. Then about 10, 15 years ago, they sort of talk about benefits. What does this mean? What's that shift we're getting as a result of delivering the projects? We promise all this value at the beginning. Are we seeing that at the end? And then I've sort of redefined it a couple of years ago to really challenge our thinking in the project space. And what they're meaning by that is projects are successful based on the perception of our stakeholders. So what they're saying is the perceived, emphasis on the word perceived value, worth the effort and expense. Now, the reality is so many different stakeholders will have a completely different view of how that equation turns out. And that is actually the challenge of project management. There's a lot of stuff happening in AI, and PMI going full, they're investing so much in AI. But the reality is it's people and it's politics that define how projects operate and whether those are successful or not. So I think AI is going to do great for project managers, get us out of the weeds of detailed risk registers and detailed manually created Gantt charts. It's going to automate a lot of that for us to free us up to be more people-focused leaders, to navigate the confusion, the complexity, the politics, the people, the stakeholder side of projects. So ultimately, that's PMI's, I guess, where the strategy is going, the focus around thought leadership there. And that links on to what Diana was saying before, is MORE. It's a call to action to the industry or to the profession to say we need to think beyond really just the vanilla nuts and bolts of our projects. We need to manage those perceptions I talked about before. We need to own project success beyond project management success. We should be there for the projects, not there for project management or our roles. So we're going to think about other people's roles in the project, but also think about the products, the life of the product well into the future after the project finishes. Relentlessly reassess project parameters. That VUCA analogy I mentioned before around volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous, that's the world we live in. So we're going to constantly, we have a plan, but as soon as you hit send on an email with that plan, it's out of date. Things have changed. That's the reality we live in, right? I'm not saying planning's wasteful well, you need to plan because then you can check your reality against where that benchmark is to work out whether you're in the right spot or not. And of course, expand our perspective, just think beyond and usual blinkers. And that's what PMI is saying. That's what's going to make or break or set apart excellent project managers from mediocre project managers. Someone mentioned before about the PMBOK guide. This is PMI's most well-recognized global best practice framework of project management. It's morphed over the years. Version 8 came out last year. It's gone from being 100 pages to 200 pages to 300 pages. It went up to about 750 pages, version 6. And then scaled it back to be a little bit more digestible with version 8, about 400 odd pages. You don't read this from cover to cover. If anybody has trouble sleeping, then here we go. Here's the solution for you. No, I don't mean that. What I'm saying is it's a very extensive document that represents in current day what project management is. All things traditional through to all things agile, adaptive. All things process, scope, time and cost, risk. All things people, empowerment, conflict management, leadership. So it's a really good multi-dimensional sample of global research around best practice, updated every 4 or 5 years. There's an agile practice guide. There's a program management standard. There's a portfolio management standard. There's a business analysis guide. There's a guide to PMOs. There's a guide to AI transformation. There's a guide for competency development. There's a guide for, there's so much guide. There's so many guides. There's lots of them. Okay. So like I said before, if you have any passion within a particular area of project management, PMI's got something for you there. Don't read them all. I've not read them all. David, I haven't read them all. There's just lots available to you. What's really exciting is PMI did some research last year that looked at the talent gap. Right now, across the globe, there are 35 to 40 million project practitioners. That's people who spend most of their working week working in projects. Not just project managers, architects, engineers, consultants, developers, whatever. People working on projects most of their week. 35, 40 million of them today. In the next 10 years, or now 9 years, we need another 30 million. That's kind of almost doubling the size of people, the number of people who are working in that project space in the next 9 years, that's a big number, which is exciting. So I think everybody on this call today, you're in the right industry. Well done. There's going to be demand. 135,000 is the forecasted demand. Yeah, Dominic, yay. 135,000 is the forecasted demand for Australia. Okay, so if you think this year's been busy, if you think last year was busy, just you wait. Just you wait a few more years. It's going to get busier. But hopefully AI can help combat that busy schedule. And of course, I mentioned AI. PMI have a product called AI Infinity. It's effectively ChatGPT, the current most modern version of ChatGPT with a PMI, effectively, I guess, what would you call it, a lens on that. So they're taking that mechanism and effectively created a licensed PMI product, which you get free for your membership. And you can download this onto your phone. So there's a mobile app which you can use it on, or you can use it through a web browser. And ultimately, the data sources behind this AI engine are all of PMI standards. So you don't have to read them all anymore. You can just ask AI targeted questions around creating project charters, or targeted questions around frameworks for portfolio management, or targeted questions around the difference between what a governance role is for a sponsor and a governance role is for a senior supplier, or whatever it might be. You know, whatever responses that AI bot comes back with, it's based on vetted, I guess, thoroughly researched and very formal publications from PMI. It's not canvassing the deep, dark, I guess, extents of the ends of the world of their web. It's really based on some really good, strong PMI content. So if you've got any project management specific questions, PMI Affinity, the way to go, and it's free. It's a premium GPT solution, free for your membership. Okay, that's a lot around PMI over here. Now let's go to a bit of a deep dive in the certification space. There's two tiers of certifications. There's the core tier, which have been around for a long time, and then there's a specialized tier, which is sort of being always added to in recent years. Now, the general approach, not the required approach, the general approach is to start with a core certification first, understand global best practice in that particular craft, and then you can specialize based on the sort of industry you work in or what sort of projects you work in. So CAPM, we'll start with CAPM first. I'll talk about all these in summary, and then I'll spend a bit of time, probably 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, I'm just conscious of time, doing a deeper dive into CAPM and PMP because they're the most common certifications and people have already talked about them today. But CAPM came about in 2003 from memory. People wanted to prove to themselves that they knew best practice project management. They didn't quite have enough experience to get PMI's gold star certification, the PMP, but they wanted something to prove to themselves, their team members, their employers, that they've got what it takes to become a project manager or mature in their project coordination role. So that's what CAPM, Certified Associate in Project Management, is designed for. The PMP, gold star, 1.8 million people worldwide have the PMP certification, and that's the demand is just keep increasing. And just refreshed, or it's being refreshed for 6th of July this year. So I'll say a bit more about that in a minute. Beyond the project management space, you've got program management. So by definition, a program is a collection of projects. So there's a program management certification for those people who work at that level. Beyond that, there's the portfolio management. What a portfolio management is, I guess, role is linking organizational strategy to all the capital investment we're doing in projects and programs. So that's why portfolios exist, to prioritize and make sure we're doing the right things at the right time. And then you've got PMOs, which is effectively your center of excellence, your project practice within your organization. If you're leading a PMO team, then PMI have a certification for you there. Those are generalized, they're across all industries, all types of projects. Then you've got the specialized tier, which is effectively based on, I guess, the niche elements of your particular role or your industry. So if you work a lot within business analysis, typically a role found in IT, lots of collection of requirements, solicitation of requirements, workshopping, basically holding the client or the business's hand while you're going through project delivery, then there's certification for you. If you're focusing a lot on risk management, a lot of risky, big, complex project, RMP. If you're into construction, lots of scheduling, lots of project online, then there's SP. If you're working in construction, this certification is just 3 years old, a relatively new one. There's a deep dive certification very much focused on the common challenges that exist today in large construction projects, thinking around interfaces, thinking around communication, thinking around scope and change, and risk around our contracts. If you're working generally the IT space is an Agile certification, and then PMI's AI certification. Just a point of note is this AI certification is targeted at learning around how to implement an AI project, not how to adopt AI as part of your role as a project manager. I'll talk about PMI's, I guess, e-learning offerings in that a bit later on. So that's the kind of suite of all of PMI certifications at the moment. And they'll constantly sort of roll out additional offerings every second year based on demand and based on how the environment changes. Deep dive into PMP. 1.6 million certification holders worldwide. It's becoming a bit of a prerequisite to work in some organizations. Some organizations are saying you cannot apply to be a senior PM until you have your PMP. Okay, so it's recognized globally. It means something. It means you've had experience in the field as a project manager before you can get it. It means you've learned global best practice and be able to memorize that or understand that to navigate a challenging exam. So it means a lot to say your PMP initials after your name. The content of the exam is based on 3 domains around people. So that's the soft skills or the leadership side of it, the process, the scope, time, and cost, the importance of planning, monitoring, controlling, etc. And of course, the business environment, which is the compliance needs, the governance needs, thinking about the external factor which we can't necessarily control, but it's going to either drive or constrain the way we deliver our projects. And to sort of jump ahead a little bit, the biggest change between the current PMP exam and the future PMP exam that changes from early July is the ratios of these are changing. They're decreasing the people and the process focus and increasing the business environment because of that VUCA world we live in. That's going to make or break our projects. There has been this sort of misconceptions for forever that the PMP exam is based on the PMBOK guide. It's not, and it never has been. The PMP exam is based on what they call a role delineation study. So what they do, they canvass the globe, interview project managers, program managers, PMO leaders, executives, and ask them, what do you want out of a project manager today? What do you expect the PM to do? They take the information, boil it down, compare that to the results of what they got a few years ago, and that delta directs the shift in the next version of the PMI exam, also the PMP exam. And beyond the sort of shaping or the reshaping of people, process, and business environment, there's a bit more reference to sustainability and a bit more reference to AI as well. So we're sort of starting to see it's not a massive rewrite, it's a tweak. I've just got the materials 2 days ago, actually, the new materials, and I'm going to say 80% is the same. 20%, it's the same content with a little bit of a tweak to it. So if you're studying for it and you're worried about your work-life commitments between now and end of July, don't sweat. Ideally, sit the exam before July, but it's not a massive start from scratch again if you sit the exam post early July. PMI will give you the certification once you pass that exam, and you're allowed to have that beside your name for 3 years. And once during that 3-year cycle, you need to renew it to maintain it. So that's what you need to get: PDUs, professional development units, 60 PDUs, for a 3-year cycle to retain it. So that tells, I guess, the world that you're retaining an engagement and investment in the project management profession to keep that certification alive. 1 hour of effort, 1 hour of learning is 1 PDU. Just by being a project manager, you can claim 8 PDUs. If you, I guess, come along to these sorts of events, go along to a monthly chapter event on the second Wednesday of each month, you can claim a PDU, maybe 1.5 PDUs for every event you attend. If you create content, let's say you do a project closure, craft a lessons learned data or a lessons learned list, and then you share that with your colleagues, that's learning and sharing. You can claim PDUs for developing that content and claim PDUs for sharing that content. It's not hard to get 60 hours of effort over a 3-year cycle. Eligibility, if you have a degree, 3 or 4 year degree, then PMI is asking for 3 years of hands-on experience as a project manager. Not to say you have to be a called project manager, you just have to be doing project management-like functions. Okay? If you do not, and I'll get to the education as in a second. If you do not have a degree, then they're asking for 5 years of experience instead. So what they're saying, degree, 3 years, no degree, I want an extra 2 years of experience before we can apply for the exam. Both those options, you'll also need 35 hours of project management education to equip you with the knowledge to understand how to navigate and sit and pass that exam. Now, at the moment, you can choose that 35 hours of education through any source you like. You can go to a PMI e-learning course. You can come to an organization such as Millpond and buy an in-person or an instructor-led virtual course, or you can go to a sort of a low-cost platform like Udemy or the like and buy a product from them. But just know that the Udemy option is not licensed material, so there's no way. PMI haven't vetted the quality of that. And actually, come November this year, PMI making a change saying they won't recognize those third-party materials. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Those sort of cheap third-party materials will not be a viable path for your 35 hours of education come November this year. They're making a change there to make sure they control the quality of people's engagement with PMI products. The exam format, it's 4 hours, or technically 3 hours and 50 minutes of exam questions. Multi-choice questions, most of them are single-choice multi-choice. Some of them are, multi-select, so which 2 are the following, which 3 are the following. The exam fee, it makes financial sense to be a member. Pay $199, which you all have, to save over $199 in exam fees. So it makes absolutely financial sense. Forget about all that value from PMI. Just by getting a membership, it makes financial sense for your PMP certification costs. As for your training, the choice is yours. You can do some e-learning from PMI. Go to the PMI website, go to the PMP page and select to find a PMI e-learning content. If you're a diligent studier, if you are focused, if you can sit there and buy a product and sit there in front of your computer and remain focused and listen to that content, watch module after module after video, then that's a relatively low cost way to get the education hours and of course the knowledge you require to sit the exam. If that's not you, or you're fortunate enough to, let's say, have an employer having to fund your journey to get your PMP, then you can't beat formal training from an ATP. Whether it's a call like this, like an online call, or whether it's an in-person workshop run over a boot camp week or run over several weeks, you can't beat being in the room with other learners, cross-pollinating, real-time Q&A. That's the easiest path for certification. That's PMP. What I'll do is I'll just jump into CAPM and then we'll try and get some time for a bit of Q&A from you if you've got any sort of targeted questions. CAPM, very similar construct, but ultimately it's more designed initially as a stepping stone certification. If people in the room are quite happy to be project coordinators and that's their career path, you can keep CAPM. You can carry on maintaining CAPM. No need to progress to the PMP. The domains are a bit different. Number one is the coverage of foundations of project management. So it really hones in on what a project is, what a project isn't. The role of a project manager, role of governance and the project sponsor, roles of projects and programs and portfolios. So a lot of confirmation of you understand the terminology behind projects. And then also talks about the traditional approaches to projects where you plan up front and then you try and lock in your plans and minimize change, right through to agile where you're sort of navigating your projects as you go, you're drip feeding delivery and responding and even welcoming change all the way through. And then finally, that business analysis piece, what PMI is saying is requirement solicitation, actually business case creation is fundamental to project success. Getting requirements, I guess, formed, validated, vetted is fundamental to project success. Helping the business navigate and engage this moving, breathing target of a project all the way through is fundamental to project success. So even though business analysis is a whole different role, they're saying as CAPM certified practitioners, we need to understand that, because if the BA doesn't exist, then us as PMs need to pick up that slack. 15 PDUs or 15 hours of effort over that 3-year cycle. So still easily achievable, much easier to achieve than the PMP being 60. Really easy for your eligibility, just to pass high school, or if you've got a certificate, a qualification above high school, and 23 hours of education. Again, you can go through a PMI e-learning program for this, or you can go through a ATP, or you can go through a cheap third-party offering as well. 3-hour exam, 150 questions. So that's about 72 seconds per question, if my memory serves me. Still single choice, multi-choice for majority. Sometimes you might get a picture or a comic strip to review, or sometimes those matching lists, A, B, C, or D, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's sort of drag and drop to match those answers up. The exam fees are cheaper, given the time, and the costs for this are cheaper as well. And they're the sort of formal options from PMI that I encourage you to take a look at. I think the benefits to certification are hands down. I won't read this list here, but ultimately, not only does it give you confidence in your craft, it validates what you know, what you don't know. It also helps open your eyes up to additional perspectives in project delivery. It's very easy to sort of just understand how we do things around here, whereas PMI give us another lens of, we could do this differently, or here's how a different industry works. So it really challenges your thinking and makes you think beyond your current little bubble. And of course, if you're a team lead, having a team on board, sharing and discussing the same terminology, all agreeing on the same minimum approach to projects, being able to mentor and support each other through their career pathways is a no-brainer for the quality of the projects you work on and the outputs for the organization. So the benefits for getting a certification, a global certification, are very, very clear, in my mind at least. And this is what you're looking to get, right? You're looking to get an output which says, hey, I passed my certification. There is no percentage score that you require in the exam to pass or fail. Ultimately, there is a combination of questions. And there are rumored to be 7 different, I guess, permutations of examinations at any point in time. There's a massive database of exam questions. They spit out 7 of them at a time, and then obviously administer people's scoring based on that. So some exams might have more agile questions and less cost questions. Other exams might have more procurement questions and less leadership questions. It really depends on the luck of the draw. And of course, some of those questions will be graded. Maybe these ones are slightly harder, these ones are slightly easier. That algorithm that PMI uses is very much secret sauce to PMI. But ultimately, you get an indication of whether you are needs improvement, below target, target, or above target for each of those domains. For PMP, those 3 domains there, whereas for CAPM, you get those 4 domains I mentioned earlier. Now, with that exam report, you do get a bit more detail here around how well you did in people, how well you did in process, how well you did in business environment against specific tasks. Now, you can't see what those tasks are on the slide here, but there's a whole exam kind of outline which lists what the tasks are around people, around conflict management, around team empowerment, X, Y, and Z, so you can sort of understand how you fared in those situations there based on the exam questions. So I'll pause there for a second. Anyone got any questions around PMP, CAPM, your specific scenario that I can try and answer within a couple of minutes?
Any question, guys?
Probably everything was quite clear.
A bit fast, but hopefully quite clear. Feel free to mull it over, but ultimately, in terms of if you're keen to find out more, we run a free monthly PMI certification Q&A session. We actually have one tomorrow. So if you sleep on this tonight and you think, I should talk to Mike tomorrow, then you can scan that QR code and register for 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and we can jump on a call. They happen on the last Friday of every month. So you can scan the QR code, you can keep that calendar invite in your diary, the same link every single month, and we can connect further. If anyone's keen to do an in-person PMP course with us, then we've got one in town between the 18th and the 22nd of May. Okay, 9 till 5, Monday to Friday. We're also doing Agile Masterclass. We've got a construction professional certification course running. And I guess my favorite is a leadership course we'll be running 13th and the 17th of July. And that one's online, so you can sort of work that around wherever you are in the world at that time. But that's kind of it from me. Here's my QR code. If you would like to scan that and connect with me on LinkedIn, you're more than happy to reach out. So I'll leave that on screen for a second. And the final thing that I guess Diana would like you to fill in is a little bit of a Q&A feedback from tonight's session. But while you're doing your QR code, again, just putting in the call out if anybody's got any questions for me to answer while we're on the call tonight.
Does anyone have a question? Nice. The deadline, Mike, just to, as a reminder, I think it's the 9th of July when PMI is going to be transitioning to the
Correct, 9th of July.
yeah,
New
9th
exam.
of July. So guys, keep in mind.
Yep. We're going to do a bit of tomorrow morning, my job is to write a nice little blog article being very specific about what the differences are in the PMP exam. So if you want to follow us on LinkedIn or whatnot, you'll see a post coming out tomorrow, Monday at the latest, being very clear about what the difference between current PMP and the new PMP is. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
I do actually have a question. How many of us are still interested in the PMP certification? So raise your hands after all that Mike has explained.
Hopefully I haven't scared anybody away. It's worth a challenge. It's worth a challenge for sure.
It is.
Yeah, I've got a question. Sorry, this is Shankar here. Just keen to understand how many times is this exam being run in a month? Like, is it a fixed date or is it a multiple dates we can choose from?
Great question.
Yeah.
Okay, it's all set online now. So it's set on a computer now. So you can either choose to go to a local testing center, and from memory, there are 2, if not 3, in the CBD of Perth who offer the PMP examination. The challenge is the same testing centers that offer it for PMP also do it for all other PMI certifications and a whole variety of other organizational certifications as well. So you're all vying for the same few seats in this testing center. I guess so if you organize, you'll be able to pick a certain Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Thursday, let's say in late May or early June to book that exam. The nice thing about doing it at a testing center is they look after all the logistics. All you need to worry about is turning up on time and finding a car park. The reality is they look after you there. But the reality is, or as you know, with COVID and us being more familiar with being online, more and more people are now doing an exam online at home or at the office. So if you can find a place where you can secure yourself with a locked door for 3 or 4 hours, for me, this is my home office. I'd book a time where my wife and my kids are out because ultimately you've got to set yourself up with a secure environment. PMI do not want any avenue to be explored to sort of, cheat your way through the system. So ultimately, the way it works is you download some software on your machine. It's almost like you're on a call like today. You hold up your ID to the camera. You lift your camera on to make sure there's no one hiding in the room and there's no study notes on the wall. So there's a few sort of little checks and balances to make sure that you are in a nice, secure environment. And then when you hit the go button, they disappear. You don't see them anymore. You don't hear them anymore. But they're obviously observing you through the entire exam, and you've got your exam on full screen. It locks down your PC, and you sort of work through that. I guess the nice thing about it, you're doing that in the comfort of your own home. It's a space. It's a seat that's comfortable. It's in a chair that's at the right, a desk at the right height. So if you want a comfortable space that you can guarantee a secure area for 4 hours, that's a nice little way to go. And also it means there's so many different options. You can book morning, afternoon, evening, 8 o'clock on a Friday night if that's what your Friday night jam's all about, or maybe 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning. Completely up to you. There's so many different options for when to sit that exam online.
Yeah, I wanted to add something, Mike, and just to bring people attention. And yesterday we were reviewing, the project management salary survey, and I got impressed. As an example, I just dropped the report in the chat, but it seems just in Australia, the difference between having PMP versus not having PMP certification at least is 11%. So by having just the certification, you at least will get, or you have probably the likelihood to get 10% more salary just because of that. So I got impressed. I mean, there are plenty of countries, as an example, Brazil, 33%. If you are able to get any, PMP certification, which is impressive.
Nice one. Hey, just checking the chat too. There's a question around the PMI app for your phone. Google or in your App Store or Play Store, PMI official. So, and that's also when you're certified, it's a really easy way to log PDUs all on the phone. So it's a nice little simple point there. And of course, it's got Infinity in there as well. And yeah, if you just go to pmi.org website or just Google Pinbot Guide and the PMI website will pop up, log in, you can do a free download. It is a little bit finicky. You click the download button and you got to sort of wait 30 seconds for it to generate the download file for you, and then it works fine. If anybody has trouble opening the web browser because they codify the Pinbot Guide to your profile, it doesn't like opening up the Pinbot Guide in a PDF in the browser. But if you open it up in, say, Adobe Acrobat in a desktop application, it works absolutely fine. So just try different ways of opening that PDF if you have any challenges there.
What else?
Awesome. I think that we can share the last piece of our session for today, the feedback. So just quickly, we want to know from you guys, how was the session? So please take your phones and scan this QR code. Let us know if you can get in. I'm actually gonna try it because I didn't try it before. This is awesome, and see if actually.
Yep, it's confirmed. It opens.
Awesome. Yep. So 3 quick questions for you guys. I'll start sharing here so you can see what we are talking about. The session helped me to clearly understand the value and benefits of being a PMI WA member. Second one, the information on professional development opportunities, such content, certifications, and events was relevant and useful for my career stage. We are getting the responses. I can see them coming up. I feel more connected to the PMIWA community and motivated to engage through events, volunteering, networking, maybe. Cool. I think we got all responses now. Just gonna did I see if it's sharing or not? Yeah, it's there. We got awesome. I'm really happy to see this. Okay, and I guess it's a matter of time before we can get, thanks to your feedback, better insights in terms of the professional development and membership benefits and value out of these sessions. So next one, in one word, what might be my takeaway from today's session? Just one word. Words and coming up. Yeah. Love it. Love it.
Interesting. Energy.
They are quite even because I don't see that the sizes of these words are changing. So it's interesting. Pretty much each of us has a different takeaway.
I need more than one word.
Yeah, right? Okay. we have 3 more people to respond. Interesting. Okay, I think we can call it here. It's clear. I'm just going to quickly take a screenshot from this slide. And if you don't mind, guys, we can turn on our cameras and take a quick photo of us all. Let me just stop sharing here. Can you see the responses so far, what we got?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I believe we all have different takeaways, which is interesting for us to explore a bit further later on. And Mike, you got I'm going to share the results for you here so we can all kind of work around that. Again, thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, David.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Probably from our today's session, a quick photo of us. So be ready in front of your cameras now.
Mhm.
In 3, 2, 1. Done. Nice, Miles. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Have a lovely evening and stick around. We got the monthly events.
Yeah. In the next event, Diana, it's important to know it's gonna be the second Wednesday, which is gonna be on
13th.
13 May.
Yeah, the 13th of May.
Yeah.
Either way, keep an eye on your email. We are also sending more events online. Workshops are coming up as well. So yeah, let's stay in touch. Thank you. Thank you. It was nice meeting you all, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. See you next time.
Thank you.
See ya.
We are here to support you. Bye. See ya.
Thank you, Ronald. Thank you, Diana. We'll see you guys. Cheers. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.